started, and then we can go into the aspects from a game design perspective. What are the things that make GTA this successful, and why people love it? There are a lot of it has a separate fan base. There are people who hate GTA as well, but let's not go into that for now. These 30 minutes, let's just talk straight about what people love about GTA, and what did designers do to stand out, to make it stand out among all the AAA titles that were going around during that time, right? So let's start with the basic history of GTA, right? Um, which GTA story is best as per your opinion? I love GTA Vice City because it's fun. But if you talk about the story, San Andreas has a great storyline. Uh, Means there's no coding in this session. No, there is no coding in this session. This is a game design session. Okay, guys, history. Let's talk about the history. So GTA wasn't GTA when it was made, right? There was a company back in 1995 called as DMA Design. It was a company formed by four guys. I'll name the guys as well. It was David Jones, Russell Key, Steve Hammond, and Mike Daly. These were the four guys who started DMA Design. Yeah, it started, I think, back in 1983, 84, or I guess 82. And they used to make games for MS-DOS or Atari, Commodore, the consoles that were in the first generation consoles during that time. And while they were making these games like Tetris or Space Invaders, smaller games, they wanted to do something big, something out of the box that people never played. And that is where they started building a prototype that was very unique in terms of how it looks, visual quality, and everything was completely different, right? What happened during 93 to 95 was there were independent developers who started creating softwares, who started creating engines, who started using the 3D capabilities of game engines. They started to build their own game engines, which can be used to create 3D games, 3D look of games, right? And during this time, DMA Design and these four guys with the small team wanted to experiment with that kind of a 3D aspect, right? Before this, games were made in orthographic modes. Either it's a 2D game with a top view or a side view, where if you've seen Prince of Persia, it was a side view game, right? The character used to run from left to right, or if it's a racing game, a game like Road Fighter, it's a top view game. But people didn't experience a lot of 3D versions of it, right? So that is why the DMA Design had a plan to create something which used the capability of 3D tools, right? So they created a city-like map, which had the 2D feel because it was relatable to the players. People have already played it, but because of the 3D engine, it gave a 3D look as well. So when the camera panned, you could see the buildings in a 3D mode as well, right? That was the very first version of the game that they created. This was back in 1995. The prototype that they created impressed David Jones a lot. He was the one who used to take calls whether they have to go ahead with the game or not. So the team built something which had this 2D and 3D mix feel to it, and then they pitched it to David Jones. He liked it because it was a very unique idea, and they started creating a game. Right, this game was called as car chase cars, or cars and chase, something like this. And while they were building this game was all about a city and cars into it, and they used to the player used to run around in the city and do smaller missions, right? While they were testing this prototype, they figured out one bug, and this bug changed the complete scenario of the game. The testers, while they were testing the prototype of this game, they they faced an issue, which was nothing but uh, the cops started chasing the protagonist, the main car, automatically. So this was all of random. This happened out of nowhere. It was a bug. So when you as a player used to run uh, with the car, all the cops in the town started chasing that car. So it was like a huge chunk of cop cars behind that one player car. When testers found this, they started enjoying this. They played around with this and they enjoyed it. They reported this bug to the management team, and the management team took a call because it was fun. They integrated this same functionality in the game, and the whole scene, the whole scenario, the whole storyline of the game changed from just playing around with the car in the city to to having a crime story where you are a bad guy who is running, and the cops will chase you. You have to evade those cops and run from those people, right? That is how the story of GTA came to life. One bug found was created into a feature, and that feature changed the complete dynamic of GTA franchising. This is how GTA was born, and by 1995 to 1997, this company DMA Design kept on working on this game. And during 1997 1996 to 1997, there was another company called BMG Interactive, which was more into the music industry, which was run by Sam Hooser and Dan Hooser. They saw the prototype and they loved it. They convinced DMA Design to publish that game. So then in 1997, when they had a deal, BMG Interactive published, they first changed the name of the game from Cops and Cars and Chases to Grand Theft Auto. And in 1997, the first version of GTA was launched, which was a 2D 3D mix kind of a top view game. And this was launched on Windows and MS-DOS. That is how GTA started. Then, BMG Interactive um, took DMA Design under the hood, and then BMG Interactive formed Rockstars, which is now a huge company with multiple studios in multiple countries. So, guys, that's the story of GTA. Then you already know history, the versions, the kind of games that the GTA teams built over the years. GTA 1 came, GTA 2, then there was Liberty City, then GTA Vice City, then GTA 4, GTA 5, there was after GTA Vice City, there was San Andreas, then there was GTA 4, then GTA 5. Now people are waiting for GTA 6. So, so you already know the history, right? I'll talk about a few points that people love about GTA and how game designers in the team thought about, giving GTA a complete new dynamics, a complete new perspective, right? Before that, what things you'll tell in today's webinar? Everything that I'm telling, I just touched base on the history of it, and I'll now talk about the game design perspective. Few core things. There are thousands of things to talk about GTA from a game designer's perspective, but I'll just touch base on few core things which helped the game achieve that USP that no game had during that time, right? Hi Webo, hi. These days, marketing your games as indie devs seem more difficult than building it. Please share your thoughts and some insights on it. I will once we finish this. So suggest for best game dev. Okay. Well, so here are a few things that I have figured out, and I personally love about how these things are integrated. Now during when we had this games, when we had bigger companies making games back in 97, 98, 99, it was all a linear story. It was all a level based approach that these companies took while creating games. What GTA did was transitioning from this level based approach to having a complete sandbox, a city, a whole living, breathing world and you could do whatever you fancied doing in the city. Right. The game obviously had a story, but instead of forcing you to do one task after the other, you got to decide when you wanted to progress with it. That was the biggest USP of GTA. It had, it had everything set up. It had everything given to the player and take calls themselves. It never forced GTA never forced people to follow one mission after the other. It gave people a choice to choose what they want. You don't like the story, fine. Just just hang around, just jack a car, race around, probably go on a rampage, killing random people on the streets, do bonus missions, have a bike, just jump from the roof, do the wheelie, do the stoppie, get points, beat strangers, with bare hands, or just drive around, admiring the city. The whole world was your sandbox. Overall, what GTA did was gave the player freedom to do whatever they want in the game, and this was the biggest USP that GTA brought in the gaming industry. No game did that before GTA. No game had this kind of a scenario, had this kind of an architecture, a setup that GTA created. And hats off to the team of game designers and the people who thought about this. We now have multiple. It's now a genre itself. Um, a lot of games on the similar lines, games like Watch Dogs, Mafia, Red Dead Redemption is again from the GTA team itself, the Rockstar guys, but still, um, say Witcher, right? A lot of games just followed the genre and created the franchises out of it. When they launched their mobile version, did they change a lot in the game or kept the same gameplay? When they launched the mobile game, the only thing that they did was was optimize it. Um, if you see, when they launched the mobile game, they never brought the same game on the mobile platform. They used all the features and created a separate story for the mobile. Um, but now in the last 2-3 years, if you look at the last 2-3 years, they now have optimized bigger games to fit into mobile. Also, thanks to high-end smartphones, or even the configurations in the low-end devices. It's supporting the overall stuff, right? So when they launched initially, they didn't just optimize the bigger version and put it into the mobile. They created a separate thing. Which game engine did they use? GT the whole GTA franchise is on an engine called as Rage. I'll just give you quickly what Rage means. But Rage is Rockstar Advanced Game Engine. Okay, it's Rockstar's advanced game engine, which is created by the team themselves. It's an intellectual property which is not shared with any other developers or the people to experiment with. And usually, bigger companies have their own engines, and that is how they create. They keep on adding libraries to these engines, and eventually they become like a huge engine, which just helps them drag and drop things and create stuff, because they've been doing it for years now. So if you talk about EA also works on an engine called as Frostbite. There is Rage, which is Rockstar's proprietary game engine, which is not shared by anybody. Likewise, there are multiple other companies, huge companies, having their own engines. So GTA, to answer your question, was Rage engine. So coming back to the point, one of the things that GTA didn't do, that uh, the bigger games started doing when GTA was out, people started to take GTA as a benchmark and then create layers onto it. Um, right? They started creating layers onto it to make it more immersive. But if you look at GTA never, even when they saw their competitors doing those things, they didn't jump onto that train. I'll give you one or two examples. If you see GTA never uh, it never had side quests. If you see games like Witcher, or any game, if you take any game from Ubisoft, it has side quests. It has objectives which are very linear. uh, GTA says that we are not going to force you to do certain side quests, so that if you play Witcher, uh, and you reach 20% of the game, you realize at that point you realize that, oh shit, I should have done some side quests back there when I was at, say, 10-15% of my progression. I should have killed animals, gathered their skin, gathered the flowers or the leaves that were important, the herbs, which would help me create better medicines and better swords, or things like that, which would help me during the 20% progression. uh, GTA has no such kind of dependency, and no side quests that will help you progress in the later stages. That is the best part that GTA did, and they stayed true to the genre that they created. Right, two to three major things that GTA has. Right, I'll just point those also. Let me just first, can we also make games like GTA? If you talk of, if you when you say we, if you're saying, if you're mentioning Indians, then 100% we can. In fact, if you see the artworks in these AAA titles, in games like Forza, Far Cry, the artwork that you see is majorly outsourced from Indian studios. Companies like Dhruva Interactive and Lakshya Digital, they outsource artwork for these bigger gaming companies. So all these 3D car models or racetracks that you see in Forza are created right there in Dehradun, where people at Dhruva Interactive are sitting. They're making these things. So if you talk about India, when you say we, if it's India, we have enough talent to do that, and we can do that. Yeah, the only thing that stops bigger Indian gaming companies to attempt a game like this is the funds, and the belief system that the capital or the investment firms have not shown in Indian gaming companies as of yet. If you see, I wouldn't say as of yet, till last year, I would say, because if you see the statistics in the last 1 year, huge amount of investments have happened in the Indian gaming companies. Now is the time when bigger venture capitalists or funds are believing in Indian gaming companies that they can make bigger games, right? So in the next 2-3 years, you will see AAA titles coming out from India, which will compete global industry. Uh, Again, the second part, if you're talking about we in the sense 2-3 people with you, you can't. GTA is made by a team of thousands of people. I'm not saying you need 1,000 people, because a game like Witcher also was not made, was made not more than 200 people, right? So you can, uh, with a team of 50 to 200 people, you can definitely create as appealing game as GTA. For that, you don't need 1,000 people for sure. But there's funds, which is at most important. Which engine should a beginner have to use, like Unreal Engine or Unity? If you're targeting mobile games, use Unity. If you want to become big in PC and console games, go for Unreal. Do gaming industry support blueprint skill or getting jobs? Uh, blue for getting jobs. Okay. See, blueprint skill is compared to a hardcore native skill. Uh, I'll give you one simple example. Okay. Uh, in blues in blueprints, you only use visual scripting and you don't actually code. Whereas in actual scripting, you need to do a lot of things, which helps you customize a lot of things. right? If I have to give you an example, this is like driving a car, right? If you have an automatic car with no gears into it, you're actually driving an auto with blueprints. You're actually driving an automatic car. The day you'll have to drive this manual car, you'll screw it up. And there are not many companies driving manual, automatic cars in India. Everybody is working on hardcore stuff. If you if you want to become a great programmer, you need to go into the scripting as well. So for starters, blueprint might work, but it's not going to take you too far. uh, it's only used by Rockstar. No one can use it unless you're a member of okay company. Sir, any informational podcast coming from your YouTube channel? Yes, yes. In coming days, you'll see. I want I want a game to generate automatically, so that's why I want to program this generation. How can one get started in AR? AR currently AR and VR is only big in B2B. There's no consumer focused products that are being made by any company in India at least. If you want to start in AR, it's the easiest way is to join a company who's working on AR. It's not different. It's not different from a usual game or an app that you build on Unity. You can start with Unity, try out few examples on AR, and then directly start apply for companies who are in B2B in AR, who are making products for businesses. And AR has a lot more use cases. There are a lot of businesses that need AR and VR. Hey, Weber, want to introduce people to the auction launching next week? Yes, we are launching an auction section on Creator Club for my sessions. If you're willing to take these sessions, you can bid on this auction part that will be coming on this platform next week. When I'll do another live next Tuesday, you'll see the auction panel here where you can auction the sessions for a one-on-one call with me. So you need to bid that, and if you get that bid correct, we'll set up a call with you one-on-one, and then we can take it ahead. So yeah, we are launching the auction part for me on Creator Club on next week. Which is the best 3D developing company in India? There's nothing like this. Everybody is doing best work. Very important thing to put in your mobile game. Unreal versus Unity for AR. Unity is doing fine right now. Should I release my first game with lags? No, don't. Okay. Coming back to those 3-4 pointers that I want to touch base. The other things, right? The most important thing I believe GTA has cracked is the locations, the environment, and the locations. For a game which is huge on exploration, environment and locations matter a lot. What GTA has done is they have created state of art architectures in the world that they give you. It's detailed and it's open for you to go and visit. Plus, they have added recognizable landmarks. If it's US, if it's San Francisco, there's Golden Gate you see in the game. There are a lot of things which are recognizable, and if it's Vice City, there's Miami. The complete setup is from Scarface. It's just replicated from the Scarface movie. The complete Miami look that you see. Then they've also added rewarding, element to the environment as well. Like for example, using the environment, you can do a lot of things. Like jump from the buildings, or use the ramps to climb, perform stunts through your vehicles, using your vehicles, right? So playing around with the environment is one of the top class thing that GTA has done. If you see other open world games, just for an example, if you take Witcher, you'll see landscapes. You'll see a lot of open landscapes with only few huts in middle every now and then, right? And that is something completely different from what GTA does. So I believe locations um, were top notch, right? Also, you, they changed throughout the versions. When they wanted to show that cold mafia look of it in GTA Liberty City, the whole environment looks that um, cold, right? When they wanted to show a Miami vibe, like a proper retro Miami vibe in Vice City, they created it that colorful. When they wanted to have that heated up, effect in San Andreas, where there were gang wars going on, right? They created that. And then there is always the new age GTA 5, right? So I believe locations and environments work really well for GTA. Then there's a weather thing, day and night cycle, which also impacts a lot within the game. Couple of more things, the music, um, having the radio element to it, not just that, but also the ambient sounds in various various parts of the city. Like if you're going underneath, like if you're swimming through the water, you won't hear a lot of sounds, but the sound of the water. If you're flying above the city, it's too quiet over there. Only the sound of the engine or the chopper wings would be there. If you're right in the middle of the city, it's too chaotic. So they played a lot with the music, which is which has this whole theme of it. Even the overall background music, if you see, like back in Liberty City, it was kind of mafia element into it. Um, in Vice City, they got this retro vibe. uh, every damn piece was a retro vibe, right from the clubs that you visit, to the final ending of the game. Similarly, the same thing was replicated with the heads up panel as well, the HUD that we call the UI, the interface that you see, right? And the colors in these HUD, in this UIs, also relate a lot to the vibe of the game, right? Most of the games screw this up, but GTA had this consistency to go with the vibe of the theme of the game, right? So I believe these were few pointers, that really helped GTA maintain that consistency, and they'll keep on doing it. It now has no competition. That somebody else will create another GTA. They'll create another mafia. They'll create another under. I'm saying underdogs, watchdogs. It's just going to be yet another game, but GTA franchisee will remain GTA forever. Maya versus Blender for modeling. Tanveer, if you're looking for a job in the Indian ecosystem, I think you should know both of these tools. But having knowledge of Blender would work miracles for you, because independent studios try working on free tools, and Blender is a free tool. They don't have to pay licensing fees to Maya. If you're good at Blender, if you can do the same thing that one does in Maya, um, using Blender, you have a plus point. So having knowledge of both the things is great, but you need to polish skills on either of these tools. सर अनपेड इंटर्नशिप्स मिलने के लिए क्या करें, और ये टाइम पे तो कोई इंटर्नशिप नहीं देता. At this moment, internships are becoming difficult, because the real value of internships come in a physical space. When you as an intern can go and interact with the people around. If you're a programmer, if you go and talk to a game designer, you get a different perspective. If you talk to an artist, you get a different perspective. So that helps a lot. But being working from home, you are not going to have a lot more impact on your life as an intern, and that is why companies also are not really getting into that zone where they want interns on board and they spend time teaching them online, right? But if you just want it, just knock the door of the company that you want, to get in. Just beg for it. I'm like, this is what I did. I just knocked a door. I begged for the opportunity. They gave me the opportunity, and here I am. uh Vision is one of the community where you can learn game design. Okay. Is it okay to extract copy assets and 3D model from another games? It's okay, but you can't use it in commercial products. You can use it for your own purpose. If you use in your own game, and if they catch you, they're going to sue you. I use Blender for modeling and animation. So how can I approach to 3D development company? Just create a portfolio. Just create a kick-ass portfolio. Use ArtStation, create a portfolio, and share it with the company. They'll hire you. If you are good enough, they'll hire you. Does work experience matter most in gaming industry? Obviously, it matters in every industry, not just gaming industry. But if you're talking about, uh, if your question is that without work experience, can you get a job in gaming industry? 100% you can. uh, Gaming industry in India is at a very early stage. It's growing very fast, and they need people. We all need people who have skills. We are not going to look at your graduation certificates or degrees. We are just going to look at what your skills are. If you're if 60-70% of my team is undergraduate. So I'm not really concerned about, and it's not just in my case. Every gaming company in India is eager to get skilled people on board, irrespective of whether they have degrees, their 12th pass or failed, or even completed 10th standard. It doesn't really matter. It really matters to you as a person, because having a graduation, having good education is going to help you to grow as a person. Just for an example, if you ask me what I learned, I did engineering. But if you ask me what I learned in engineering, I didn't learn anything in engineering from my academic course. But what I learned is time management. I learned people management. I had fear of talking to people. I don't have it anymore. I I started giving speeches. I started managing cultural events. I did a lot of things. Engineering helped me build my interpersonal skills. Um, if you think colleges or graduation doesn't teach you anything, you're wrong, my friend. What is your advice? Hold on. Does it have 3D modeling course? I am not sure. What is your advice to a college fresher if he wants to make a good career in game development? There are a lot of things, depends on your domain. What is it that you like? What is it that you think your skills are in? And then choose the path. You either become a game designer, a game artist, a game programmer, or a game tester. Depends on what you love. And if you want more details on it, just go to my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. Just go to the channel and see the videos. There are few videos, basic information about how to start your career in game development. How can one apply in companies abroad as a game developer? Two ways: either you go outside, study, and then immediately get internships or jobs in that country itself, or you work for like 5-6 years in India and then jump. It's quite possible to do that. AAA game design is difficult due to scope and funding, but why in India there are not many indie games like Hollow Knight or Limbo? There are. You're just not aware of it. Just try and search. Hey, I'm interested in game designing. I'm doing right or wrong. How do I know what you're doing? You're interested in game designing. Game designing has a lot of scope. It's one of the biggest career options right now in India. So which basic software should we learn to get a good job in gaming sector? Again, the same thing that I just mentioned to Mohit. Just understand your skill set first. Does Underdog Studio hire interns or provide unpaid internships to students as per now? No. It's the same thing where it becomes difficult to teach an intern online. All right, guys, that was it. That was it from my side. I just wanted to touch base on a few pointers. One last thing that I missed out in GTA is the technical aspects. The game, even if it's like a triple A title, but it's still managed to optimize to a level where it can run on normal machines. It at this stage, it obviously requires high-end graphics, but during the GTA Liberty City and GTA Vice City as well, or even San Andreas, it ran on normal machines and it didn't require heavy machines to, or a heavy graphic heavy machine to run the game. So yeah, that was all about GTA. We'll meet you next week with another game. Dissecting another game from a game design perspective. And hear me out again. This set of session where we only talk about game design under the hood by underdogs. Um, I'll just talk about the game design perspective, and we're not building or we're not creating, we are not coding games in 30 minutes here. I can't do that. I'm not a technical guy. Thank you once again, guys. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you, Creator Club, once again for hosting me. What's your YouTube channel name? Just search for my name, Vaibhav Sawan, and just write underdogs, maybe. Underdog, maybe. Ask a question. Okay. Let me just. Can I share a link here? Can someone share a link? With the follow button to be notified when is live. Okay. Hold on. I'll just, if I can share my link. I'll just try. Okay, that's the link, guys. This is a channel link. Okay, this is a channel link. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, there are more than 300 videos on this channel which only talk about game development and career paths in gaming. Just go and visit the channel. I'll be live next week, same time on Creator.club, and we'll talk about yet another game. Next week, I'll also be launching auction to give you access to one-on-one and exclusive content. I'll share exclusive content. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining in. I had fun. Yeah. See you all in the next session where we'll talk about yet another masterpiece game. See you. Bye-bye.